Good morning, Uganda. Good morning, Mother Africa. And hello to the world. Welcome to the first show, beautiful people. And welcome back from that long weekend. I'm pretty sure that the weekend was quite long to many of us. But to some of us, it's work as usual. And it's just like any other days. Meanwhile, my name is Simon Chris Makange. It's a big pleasure to have you on board. For those of you that are watching us live on Facebook, wow. You are the greatest audience we have ever had. And those of you that are watching us in your offices, ngamutu wakatuka kumulimu go, no kwata remote, no gamba kantekako STV to see these beautiful faces, man, you are the best. Namwe abatulabira ku tabs, oba abatulabira ku masimu gamwenga mulimu motoko genda ku mulimu, you also doing a great job. Gwe yakafuna ka notification, genda maso no sharing the first show, wamu no sharing shows za STV endala zone ziba ziberawo. Unaku lwa Monday, enaku z'omwezi 19 omwezi ogw'ekumi omwaka 2020. We are counting down just a few days to the end of this very month, and we are counting down, I think, roughly not more than nahungazizo to the end of this very year. 2020 gujja kubeera mwaka gwa byafaayo to many of us who want to achieve big in this life. Naye ekyo kitegeeza nti waddenga waliwo ebikyamu ebibaddewo tetugwamu maanyi. Ndine timu ennene kuliko omukyalo omulungi wamu n'omwami omulungi. Kantandikira omukyalo.
Abami nabo bayita balungi. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Latifa Hamid, and I would like to welcome you to the show one more time. Mukulike your weekend, and welcome back from, I'm not sure whether it was tiring or whether it was a happy weekend for you. Nsanyuse nyo okubeera namwe ku show ya STV First Show. Era nsubira tulina bingi nyo to talk about today.
Yeah.
We have a lot to talk about in today's show, and it's a pleasure to be here. Now, as we're starting the show, I would like to congratulate Jacob Kiplimo, who stand the field to win the World Half Marathon Championship gold in a new championship record of 59.49 minutes in Poland. Congratulations, Kiplimo. You guys are making Uganda proud, and it only comes a long way to show that we need to invest more in sports in order for it to be one of the foreign earnings that the country has. And now as we move forward to what happened during the weekend, now DP says that it is paying the 3 million nomination fees for all its members of parliament, and the members of parliament who had already paid the fee can go back for reimbursement. Oh, why? I didn't know DP had all that money in their bank. So congratulations. And we're looking at parties like NUP still struggling, but hopefully they will go through this session. And DP also said they will be printing out posters for their party members. Amen to that. And now let's go and let Tariq introduce himself, and we'll be back to discuss the other stories that made the headlines.
Ambalamusiza ku bana Uganda amachama marungi unaku lwa Monday wiki mpya ninga tuchali mwezi gwogumu mwezi ogw'ekumi mbalamusiza kera mwenanga mbasaba okubeera nga mbira naffe bulungi ku STV kwa tuchana bintu tubaletedde wiki eno nze nno inachiyogere Simon Kwisinga otandika nti 2-2 musajja omuyangama mwaka gutatu yangama nti enagenda kubeera 2-2 fukamira amazima matuufu yatufukamide 2-2 kubanga abantu bangi covid abakosezza benje zibaddewo mu ggwanga ezituyiseemu naye nga tubasuubiza temugwa musuubi mukama ali naffe era nga kijja kuba kitambula bulungi. Bona Chris
tayari kunogole okikutte bubi gogamba 2-2 fukamira mwa abafukamira ffe tuli bulungi abalala bazimba za abali abatali bulungi mwemuka but some people have made the 14
Simon Chris ongambye ffe tuli bulungi omuli ffe tuli bulungi
nzikaninze ffe abatufukamira
naye omulaba
temugwa musuubi mukama jabba
era olaba raboti
naye Tariq
era olaba raboti sajja
ali musuubi omulaba alabikangali nasente
as long as I'm still breathing I'm not complaining. But anyways, coming back to the flow, welcome to the show. You talked about Kiplimo, and one thing that came into my mind is that most of these races or gold medals for decades have been taken by Kenyans and Ethiopians. But now they are coming to Uganda.
Definitely.
And the floor was opened up by John Akibo in 1972. So now the Nebituvaka
a little bit. The funny part about 2020 is the fact that tulina bad things and then tulina good things in all. The 2020 is there, and we have mixed things that are happening in the country. Tulabia politics that is happening in the country. Bintirinji has happened. We have the bad things that have happened in the political arena in the country, but we have good things as well that have happened in the political arena. We have COVID-19 cases that have skyrocketed the past few days, 59 deaths and 10,509 cases and still counting. And we are hoping that this can be cut down. But again, what is the solution as we are discussing what is happening with the fake COVID-19 results that have been registered in the airports? And people have come to the point where we expected it. And we saw it coming because in Uganda, nothing happens without a fake coming out, and we knew that sooner or later COVID-19 results would come out as fake, and not because there's NASA road in the country, but because there are hospitals abatwala cases. You come, you say, I want to travel. Sirina would to wait in line. How much do you want? And then I get the COVID-19 test. But one thing you don't know as a person who is getting a fake COVID-19 test is that if you don't see it proper, it's going to be more than the 240,000 Ugandan shillings that you could have paid the very first time and got the COVID-19 test. Kubanga, you're bribing the first person at the counter, you're bribing the doctor, you have to bribe at the airport as well, and then you have to bribe in the country that you're going to, because they're going to check you as well in the country that you're going to. And over 300 fake COVID-19 results is so alarming, and it's something that we're supposed to be scared of as a country, because that means if we can go out with fake COVID-19 results, we can come in with fake COVID-19 results, which means we're bringing COVID-19 in the country. But remember, you have relatives in the country, which means you're infecting all of them.
Wow. First thing first. I want to applaud the civil aviation for doing their good job. And njagala mbakubireko mu ngalo. Vianney Luja, PRO Civil Aviation, thank you so much. Your entire team, at least this time round, besides the 150 billion that you were asking from the government, now this time around, thank you so very much for doing your job. And okulaba nti musolo kutracinga certificate says eziri fake. That's a good thing, because singa waberawo loophole, okay, that means infections wano mugwanga zigenda kulinya nnyo. First and foremost, abajja, if they're able to trace certificates eziri fake mwabo abayingira neziri fake mwabo abafuluma, I want to applaud them for the good job well done. However, it is a norm in Africa, Uganda in particular, that whenever there is a problem, people see fortune out of it. Definitely.
Isn't that what has happened from the time COVID-19 started in the country?
Ngojeko nokuba there are those that made a fortune out of the certificates. Naye eriyo n'abafunye sente, okay, that was meant for majority. And you find that it's only the minority that have benefited out of the money that was made for majority. Naye nze still nja kwebaza nti basobola okutracinga certificates in full. That's a good job.
Yeah, kituufu era kirungi naffe nange njala okwebaza naye Mama Yoweri is in two aspects. When nabadde ndaba ntunira embeera yabaddewo, I saw that abantu abasinga baddemu, they were not, most of them were not even Ugandans. Nga mulimu nalimu ba Ethiopia, nalimu abaninga n'abayindi. So and era nga omukulu Vianney yavudde n'alaga nti abantu baneeno abasinga balaga nti bakungu kuva mu nsi ez'enjawulo. Era they pose nti bote ensi zaabwe zigamba tebalina kukeberebwa. So is it the same? Is this the same? Naffe Bannayuganda gye bali nti tebalina kukeberebwa nga bavaayo. Kubanga ate bw'otunira ekintu ekyo nga naffe ffennyini onoolwera abakungu abamu abatwala nabo tebagala kuba nti bakeberebwa. Era abatuuka ku airport, they tend to be some small gods around. Nti bo tebakwatibwako, tebagala kuyita mu mitenda gina kubanga giyitibwamu. Nze mbadde nsaba nti embeera ya COVID-19 obadde tebumanyi mukungu, kubanga naye n'obeera omukungu era ojja kuvaeyo gy'ovudde ate odde mu bantu obayitira obulwadde. So tugoberere amateeka era tusobole okubanga buli omu akebere. Wayagala okutambula, take your time, genda bakebere 72 hours before certificate ogifuna ogende. Naye ate nno bwe tuba tugobera empimo gyatujjukire bulungi nga twakagenda mu mbeera ya COVID nga twakafuna lockdown, tujjukira lwo omukungu omu abantu babava ebweru yanaberanga yakirizibwa ogenda akola ki
nakyo kyoke
no yes kubanga amanyi mu Uganda nze nakugamba nti bannayuganda tugoberera amateeka era singa oleeta embeera yonna nga osaddewo etteeka ligenda okuba nga ligobererwa bannayuganda bagobera nnyo amateeka but bannayuganda bagoberera ensonga make one mistake muteeka lyotaddewo bagenda likubamu ebitundu
and they'll do a follow up
so embeera yatandika nga olwo abakungu abakkirizibwa okuba nti abantu babatebo bajja tetumanyi nabutebe bayitawo tetumanyi nawa gye bakebererwa ate nga twali mu mbeera ey'akazigizigi so katolwaliro bannayuganda nabo batandise okubeera nga buli omu anoonya ekkubo
to get out and come
in. Ate n'ekirala nti nga twogeddeko wano buli muntu ayagala okukola essente ez'amangu mangu ate twagala nnyo bypass bannayuganda gamba tubatetenkanya so kati bwe tulaba embeera eyo n'abaana bangi abaliwo esazo nga balagamba ate offa nze nja kukikolako ojja kuyitawo ate ngoyinza n'okwesanga nga n'abali mu mbeera eyo yennyini kweyapoti kwennyini ate nawaliwo.
Well, I had Mr. Vianney Luja speak to journalists, I think a week ago. Ngagamba they was buttressing abantu mukaga abayingira mu ggwanga ne fake certificates and 4 of them tested positive COVID-19.
Yes.
But the law we have apparently, according to the president of Uganda, he said that you must have a certificate that clarifies the fact that you tested negative 72 hours ago.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So, if they are not only fake certificates in the country, but even those that come from different countries. So we need to be very, very careful as we are dealing with this issue. Otherwise, tuizofuna outburst in the country. Omuntu ayingira ne COVID wano mu Uganda. Asoka nafuna wa tax muvugo okugenda ku hotel jabeera, jagenda. Imagine wabakoke avudde straight from the airport against the Kidepo National Park. The entire staff at Kidepo National Park is going to be infected. And the entire region, because ababira mu Kidepo tebasula mu gundi. They go back home. Okay? Kitegeeza n'abewaka bonna bagenda beera infected. So imagine someone has come to the hotel, okay? Kitegeeza driver amuvuze wa taxi agenda funa COVID. Ko hotel, how many people are going to be infected? So literally, if we don't man the airport, ne tuongeramu amaanyi,
but here's the other concern. The fee for testing COVID-19 is 240,000 Ugandan shillings. Katiolaba, the thing about Ugandans is twagala kweso sayo, like oyagala kusokao. So if you want to, you're going to pay an extra fee. But the question is, are we able to afford the 240,000 Ugandan shillings? Are we saying buliomu alinya the airport, buliomu goes on a plane, can afford the 240,000 Ugandan shillings? Don't you think that's one of the reasons that the fake COVID-19 tests zivuddewo is another question. As Osente is the 240, they came up with it as the Ministry of Health, and those are government-aided hospitals. Now, when you go to private hospitals, the fee went up to 400,000 Ugandan shillings. And when you go to government-aided hospitals, the lines are long. We've got cases in the airport whereby the COVID-19 tests have expired. The COVID-19 tests that are supposed to be 72 hours have expired. And that means if by the time you go to the airport and your COVID-19 test has expired, you have to come back and do what? And get another check. That's another 240 or 300,000 Ugandan shillings. So what are we doing as the government to help these people? Kubanga, one, line mpamvu. You're supposed to travel and you cannot go and say 3 days before my travel can call a COVID-19 test. That means you have to wait 72 or a little bit more than that or call a test. And that means if there's a long line, one, you're going to miss your flight. Excuse me, if there's a long line, you're going to, what? Your tests are going to expire. Kati, what are we doing to help these people who are traveling, make their life easy? I don't know how we're going to do this as a government.
It all goes back
to settle this down.
To a certain extent, Latifa, it all goes back to the travelers. Because Bobo Manito Ginda Tambula are 2 weeks ahead. Plan prior, okay? We've seen all the loopholes, the challenges. Yes, we know. Latifa, we know. It all
Aside
goes back
from
to
that,
us.
your seat number, and you know where your test.
I don't think, unless if you just walked into the country.
You're supposed to have a ticket to make sure that, to show them evidence, Mbuno, I'm traveling, for them to give you the COVID-19 test.
Unless if you just walked into the country and you hardly know how this government operates, or you hardly know how our ministry operates, or how systems operate in this country. Before you get frustrated, plan prior.
Yes.
Okay, genda ofune certificate 5 days before. Anyways, nga twagala kuva kweyo topic. The good news is that it's still mbu China yafulumiza vaccine. Okay, vaccine eno eri wakati wa $4 ne $6 je mitwalo nga 2 something awo eze Uganda. So mu China batandise okubanga ba vaccinating abantu, but until World Health Organization ngevuddeyo Tedros Ghebreyesus ngavuddeyo nayogerako eri ensi yonna, that's when that vaccine will be valid oba bwejja okubanga etandika okubanga ekozesebwa abantu bonna mu nsi yonna. Wabula amawanga nga Bungereza wamu n'amalala gegamu agenda okuba okusooka okufuna vaccine ate according to China yavuddeyo negamba nti third world countries zigenda okubeera priorities kweyo vaccine. That's a good news.
I wish we could have a better time to discuss the topic of the vaccine. Kuangolaba, when the COVID-19 started in China, a lot of us saw it as a political plan for those who would look into the future. Nebagamba, China has started the COVID-19 infection. Nebagamba, abantu banji nnyo bafudde mu China, and then we got out of there, and then US, Italy, Spain, everybody got infected, and before you know it, China has cleared its COVID-19 cases. And that only means that the other nations are fighting COVID-19, and China, where the case started, has started getting a vaccine. And we knew this was coming. After a short time, they'll be getting a vaccine, and that means they'll be selling the vaccine. The one proprietor who created it will be selling it, and that means centers unabazifuna. And before we know it, China is going to be the superpower. They're fighting the virus. Conspiracy
theories. I was one of the people who never believed in conspiracy theories.
What am I up to?
What are you up to?
All I'm saying is, you know, when SARS, MERS came, and HIV, AIDS, and malaria, they killed a lot of people. Now, COVID-19 has come, and we have 59 deaths in Uganda, and we are panicking.
There's
like we have 10,000 deaths in that.
93?
Deaths in the country.
Yeah, 93.
Still, we're not badly off. We're still not badly off. But we are panicking like we have what? The pandemic of malaria. Malaria should have been made a pandemic.
No,
I mean, malaria has killed more people than COVID-19 has.
Latifa, because the statement, no laganti, COVID-19 yavawa.
China, Wuhan.
It's in black and white.
Na spread yard, which is okay.
Na spreading throughout the world, yes.
Vaccine. What do you get in your mind? What comes into your mind?
By the time he asks me, I did not answer already. I want me to talk about it.
China is becoming the superpower.
It is. So, and why I'm saying that, all of our masks, distribution of masks and creating of masks yatandikirawa.
China.
Nebagamba, we're bringing a shipment. We are bringing a shipment of masks, and we're giving it out to the US and Uganda.
The world, China and
then it started creating and producing and.
Olwalonze binfuna obuzibu ewange era chimbira changu nyonza nanyini kufuna obuzibu kubanze mbuberamu okunonya buta bwemuvaamu solutions buta bwemuvaamu. So
anyways, we shall talk more about that.
Here's the conspiracy theory that came up. And the conspiracy theory was that because there was something that came up in the media and everybody was talking about it, there was a war between these different countries, and it was, how do they call it, chemical war. And what happened was US found out that China was creating something. So they went into China to try and take it. Yet there was another buyer who wanted it for their own good. So there was a scuffle that happened in the market in Wuhan. And then the virus spread. There are too many conspiracy theories. It was created.
Now
it came from animals. It came from
theories.
So I'm not saying those conspiracy theories
as we do get lost from this story, you can tell us you can share with us your views via our social media platforms, Facebook and Twitter. We are also live on YouTube. Thank you so very much for those of you that have just joined us. Meanwhile, we are exiting the COVID-19 story. Tuchimanyiti abantu abiri mbasatu beba kwatiddwa ku Entebbe International Airport oluvanyuma lw'okubeera ne certificate za COVID-19 enfu. Awo tuvuddewo. Now, Towards the end of this week, government ngeyita mu ministry y'ekikula ky'abantu ya gender and social development yavuddeyo neeyimiriza all labor exportation companies, okay? Companies zitwala bannayuganda okuba eby'omawanga g'Abawarabu, government yavuddeyo neeziyimiriza. Now nga aba company ezo zegattira mu kibiina ekiyitibwa Uganda Association of External Recruitment Agency, bavuddeyo ne bawakanya ebya government negamba mmwe temanche muliko. What does this mean? Tukimanyi nti many people have been complaining tulabye obutambi bungi ng'abantu baka ab'amaziga bejjusa ekyabajja ewaffe Uganda, what you call the Pearl of Africa, okugenda mawanga g'Abawarabu okuba ekyeyo ne bamaliriza ng'obulamu bye bali basuubira si bye bafunye.
The export companies, the government came up to tell them it's COVID-19 situation, and since all economies are closed, are closed. That means you cannot export people anymore, and that means that your business has to stop. Recently, they had a meeting. They were converging as export companies, and they said that now that the government has decided we are not working, other economies have been opened and we have not been opened, we're telling the government that we're putting our tools down. Nebagamba, we're blaming the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. Kubanga kati, even during the COVID-19, when we stopped exporting people, people were being exported outside the country. Na atetwagala kumanya, who was responsible for exporting these laborers outside the country? Those who are stuck as we speak in the Ugandan embassy and in the UAE countries, because we were not working at that time. And who did the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development allow to be taken outside the country? Bagala answers to that question, and they're saying they're being blamed for issues that they're not part of. Now, when you look at the statistics of what is happening in the country, they contribute $700 million to the country. And that is how much they contribute. And you have over 165,000 Ugandans who are brought and taken by these countries, and you have 200 registered countries, and you have 4,000 employed people in the country. Kati wolaba, these things that is happening in the country, and you look at what is going on, where is there something happening behind the curtains that we're not looking
Absolutely.
at? Are there companies that are owned by the government that we are not seeing? Kubanga, if the government comes out and says we're going to regulate these companies abantu tebagenda wabweru in this and this period, and we're saying these companies are not working well, to a jail in the number of, because we had more than 200. There's a time Uganda had more than 200 export companies. Nebagamba, we're going to try our best and reduce them. They did that. Naenga, we're seeing that our girls are still going out, and they're not going out to get good jobs. They are working as housemaids and sex slaves. So why are we putting our children in such a situation to the point that we can't help them when their passports are taken by the people they go to work for?
Let me start from there. Let me start from there. Our government cannot help them in a situation where they are in a dire situation, because where they are taken, there is a law that is still present, slavery.
The law that we have failed to put up in our country, when Arabs and Indians come into our country to take the good jobs that the local people are doing.
Let me share with you, Latifa. Wano tubatwala nga bagendo funa emilimo. So webatuuka eri olugero ne lukyuka. Okay? Abatagenze funa mulimo, abagenze kola obuddu. If you have a dictionary, you can open it and read the true meaning of slavery.
So what can we do about it?
It goes back to us. Unfortunately, yesterday I was speaking to Tamali Mirundi. We were discussing about the same issue. In his observation, and I want to quote him, okay? Ministry of Gender and Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, okay? Yemu, according to him, they are the same people who own these companies. Okay? And but what is okay? On Saturday, about 300 were intercepted from the international airport.
That's what these labor companies are saying. You're still exporting people waweru, and you're complaining about the fact that tuliwano, and then you're not going to open our economies.
So regulation is jakubanzi bunyo, okay? olw'ensonga nti aba-regulating beba owning companies. So the best solution would be that our country is far much better than what you're looking for outside there. And it still brings me back to what I was saying last week, okay?
That statement is up for discussion, though.
Which one?
That one of our country is way better than going out there and making money.
It's Absolutely.
It's way better. It's up for discussion.
It's true.
Kampulize chogamba mkulu Tariq.
Toyagadde malirize eyo.
That's where he's starting from.
Kale gattirako.
Omanyi bwe tutunira ensonga y'abaana bano okugenda ebweru. Tutunire ebintu ebyenjawulo. Nze bagamba nti nno olwaleero bagenda kuregulatinga companies zineno. Twakirabako n'omwaka emabega oguwedde. When operations were seized, never calling up companies, never demo, never ziwandisa na buto.
Yes.
Baga tujjamu eziri fake tujjamu ebiri biki. Never streamline nga buli kimu. Okulaba nti
bali basinzira ku kyokebere eziri fake n'eziri.
Nkujjira ne bajjamu buli kimu. Baga ma companies zimitera zitja registered. Baziregisteringa, smart design office design biki. Never wagalira enzibiti balina okutuukiza okuba nti bakola okuba nti bakuwa certificate okuddamu okole. Era mu buzimu ku mbeera kye bateerawo companies zineno. Nga oyina okukwata over 50 million oziteeke mu government ng'omusingo
wangi.
Yes, companies oziraba ziteekamu ssente over 50 oziteekeyo ng'omuki okutandikawo company Tariq and Simon tugenda kukola company exporting abantu oba abawala
kati ezo ssente zikola
emiliyoni amakumi ameka tuziteekayo ng'omusingo nti baziteekawo singa omwana onafuna obuzibu singa abaana bafunye obuzibu ebweru basobola okukozesa ku ssente z'okuba nga bakola ki
bazikola tebabikola. I'm
coming bateekawo nti gardens zebawa tuteekayo omusingo ogwo singa bawa obuzibu babuzze nti abaana bagenze ebweru omwana afunye obuzibu balemeddwa bakwata ku ssente bagamba nga basobola okuba nga bakomyawo abaana but we question ourselves abaana bana abagenda ebweru company ezabatwa zirina musingo mu government that is number 1 ekyokutudda yuwera eyina ssente zete buli mwana afuluma mu ggwanga yuwere mutemako ssente ate abakuwa neno nga waliwo omwana w'omukungu omu in fact yalina mumanya gange bamuyita Abdulaziz ng'ali Saudi eyo nga bagamba ssente zonna yuwera zeetema zigenda ku kaunti y'oyo omwana naye nga ssente ezo zirina okuba nno ziyamba mu kulondoola abaana ebabeera ebweru bafunye obuzibu bayambibwa okuba nti badde ewaka zikola ki tudde ku mbeera endala nti kampani zisinga era list zafuluma ez'amannya nga mulimu abakungu bangi bisigenda kwatuukiza nga bananyini companies ezitwala abaana ebweru so yosenga ogenda kuregulatinga naye nga te companies abakungu ebbanga tunambala bannayuganda nga ffeffe nyini tulina omululu nga osanga omusajja avuga benzi naye ayagala apangisa agana akagaali akateeke ku street kamukolera boda ebyo bintu byerekereze kyeva tusobola kuregulatinga kubanga amateeka tegakwata abantu bamu ogogamba okukwata companies ogamba okuregulatinga
Aside from that, as a contribution of $700 million in taxes, Simon Chris Makanga, do you look at the government regulating such an industry? Twas then a lawyer smoking. Nebagamba, we're going to regulate what cigarettes come into the country, regulating cigarettes, ziremerwe come into the country, and also beers and wines. Naetula we failed to do that. Why? Taxes is it jam ways of business, and then atete to stop those businesses from coming in and from happening. And that is the same thing that is happening with the export companies. But here's the question. Even when we can't regulate it, Abana, they go to the point where they sit at the Ugandan embassy. What is an embassy supposed to do in a foreign country?
What does the foreign policy say about that?
Embassy, budget ya fewa neno. If ever facilitated.
Yes. Exactly. Now you get to the point. Exactly. You get to the point, if you're not taking us back to Uganda now, mutuweko somewhere to sit. We are sleeping outside the embassy. There's rain, there's sunshine, and we're being told
teri mwana teri nsi yona ya erimu egenda mu baana banyina ffe wano teyina memorandum of understanding ne Uganda.
Definitely.
They came not once to signing a memorandum ne bakanya.
Basani ne ministry ya
the government yaffe. The government yaffe era no exchange of big sums of money. Kati omwarabu oli ye yakwata sene naziteeka wano. Yakivula nti omwarabu omwana wagenda mba warabu omwarabu agula mwana. That's why kivula nakugambi company ekolera omwana passport nembulia ticket nemkolera buli kimu ng'omwarabu asasudde.
Nze wejomba gamba wano
Chris Makanga nze Tariq nkuguze kwede passport yange tademo buli kimu ojjo ofuse
I've always been telling you that abantu abali basinga obugezi wano ku planet Earth be Baganda teri alumirwa nga talina
gatafunamu
kati biche bitusewo.
You know what is pissing me off, Tariq? Abana bagenda when they reach there, centers are with a salary for the past 4 months. But there were these companies that have taken them to the Arab nations as a sentence is out. But here's the situation, like I said earlier. Tuli mu Uganda, where we don't have the minimum wage. I have said it and I will repeat it until the minimum wage is passed. Tukola chinga, the ministers that are seated in the August House, tuli mukulia 35 million Ugandan shillings to take in our pockets. What are we doing about it? The minimum wage, abana bakolera companies, is that Asians who came to invest into the country, baba sasula 200, like a 250,000 omwana akolera for the whole month. Ochitegera, a person like that, how come they won't get out of the country to go and work for Arab nations who are giving them 800,000? The biggest job in the country, even those who are working in very big media companies and very big companies, they don't even earn 800. Katigoraba, by the time I go there and I earn my 800, Ochitegera, Nchikubye nyo, and I have money to come and build back in my country and put that money back into my country. And the government is also seeing that kwangu mwana wa agenda, the money he's going to bring back and put in the banks in the country and building and buying land zona zigendawa.
Latif,
let
me tell you something. Bawuliranga Latif ayogera bwati ngomanya ensonga ya amaanyi.
But again, anyways,
let's exit from that story.
Before exit. Buchibanga labor companies kubanga tufatwa statistics onatulaga nti no bayina abantu banje badde emirimu ombe 10
4,000
singa bagamba nti bagenda ku closing up bagenda ku business givamu tufire batufunamu ngeggwanga
tufirwa. That's the truth of the matter, Chris.
Mu journalism batugamba no story is worth your life. Okay? But tubanga tufunamu sente, but we are losing more lives. It doesn't make sense. If you are present, Linda bobiranga gwe mukulembeze w'eggwanga oyagala okufuga abantu abafu bofuga balamu.
But again, Chris,
no money is worth our lives. It goes back to what I was saying. Our country is called the Pearl of Africa. Our country is much better than going to those countries of
it's not better with the unemployment that we have in the country. Simon, Chris.
So you mean that no people have made a fortune out of this country?
Well, there are very limited people. We count our fingers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 who have made a fortune, and they've made a fortune from eating from the poor people's pocket. That's how they've made a fortune. And the few people, and who said I've made a fortune, and the few said I've made a fortune, and the few people, no, but we are looking at the salary.
Anyways,
abana bangi mutuufu abali Saudi Arabia oba bali mbawarabu atwadde on number figures nga mutuufu tulina mijugenda be employing
exactly
n'abana bangi bagenze bakuza akasente wewe bali bayisa mu empisa emi nego webuze lwaki put yourself a question lwaki bakyagenda
kubanga
sort zivude nyingi abana battibwa abana basimanya basuba
but they're still going
ne bakyagenda oza chechi basindika kubanga Chris bagambye waliwo empologoma nino gamba hanze buli n'okuyita ekikugobeno kisinga empologoma.
And here's the thing, Tariq, abantu bangi nnyo abagenda. We don't have all bad stories. Tuna success stories of people who have gone and
yes,
made it. They're success stories. So at the end of the day, all about what Tariq said is true. When you see that they've said there is fire there and a person still wants to go and walk in that valley of fire, it shows you that what is behind is bad. Chibi.
What someone told me yesterday as we exit to another story. Yanyumiriza Kagero, how they take these people. Nti bobo genda muggulu, okay? Nti bakulambuzaako awali geyena na awali jana. Okay? Bakusokesa awali geyena n'otuukayo nga bakuba endongo obulamu bwa kabi. Bw'otuukayo n'ogamba wano wenjagala okubeera, there's no difference from what is on earth. Ne bakutwala muki mujjana otuuka eri bonna basinza bali hambo n'ogamba munzize eyeri ogenda okuddayo eri nga bakuba kibooko.
naye nga bagamba you can't
go back to heaven. So that is how they advertise these companies. Wano bakugamba ogenda funa omusala gwa milioni 2 wano badde tokwatanga na kakadde wadde emitwalo 5 ne bagamba ogenda ofuna milioni ezo 2 bw'otuukayo eri kwe kufa kwe tulaba. Anyways, bwe tweyongerayo n'emboozi ezaako z'amawulire wiiki ewedde, tukimanyi bulungi ng'ennaku z'omwezi 4 omwezi gwali gwa mwenda NRM yagenda mu kaluka bwa kamyufu. Wabula Mawogola North tebyasobola genda bulungi ne basazaamu ebyali bivudde mu kulonda ne bakuteekawo bakongeza mpaka ng'ennaku z'omwezi 27 27th of September. Then chairman wako byokulonda mu kakiiko mu kibiina kya NRM Dr. Tango Doi n'agamba nti n'abyongezaayo mpaka ng'ennaku z'omwezi 3 September. Bagenda mu kulonda, then Sodo n'alangirwa ng'eyawangula. Okay? Omukyala wa mitani Kabatsi muwala wa Minister wa Foreign Affairs. Yes, muwala wa Minister wa Foreign Affairs Honorable Sam Kutesa yawangulwa naye na petitioninga. Then NRM yateekawo akakiiko oba legal team evunanyizibwa kukola ki okulondoola ebyava mu kulonda neerangira neegamba nti okulonda oba results ezavaayo teri agenda kukola ki teri muwanguzi.
Does that mean they don't trust? You did, but for me, what is funny about the story is, does it mean they don't trust Tango Doi's declaration of who the winner is? Because when they came and Charity won, Museveni's brother came up, Navayo, Nagenda, Sodo Nagamba, it was cheated. I was cheated and I want a recount, I want a re-election. Kati Tango Doi nakwata migugu and he went back to Mawogola. Nagenda nakola re-election. Neba announcing Sodo is the winner, right? Neba dayo. Kati CEC netula negamba. We are sorry, we don't agree with that because Shartsi came back and said, oh why mpakao, there's a problem. They still cheated, never fairing abantu into the elections. That means Sodo didn't win fairly. Now, that means the CSC don't trust Tango Doi in doing his job, and that's why they have decided to with who? With a candidate. They wanted to do a re-election, and that means to re-election.
So but both of them were nominated as independent candidates.
They were nominated as independent. That means none of them is standing on the NRM ticket. That means NRM failed to make up its mind on who they want to. Thank you, Mawogola. There's no NRM candidate.
Latifa ne Tariq. Nga asatu baddamu okuba akalulu ako. Okay? Waliyo chairman w'ebyokulonda mu NRM Dr. Tango Doi. Okay?
Lindako tebaddamu bakuba akalulu.
Anti bakaddamu.
Bo tebalonda. Primary zali ziriwo. Why basone bayimiriza okulonda kubanga waliyo violence baga no mwete mulonda
anti tuka bakadamu
kati boko olubali bakuba akabwe
kale kachiro nti bali bakuba akalulu mu amidist okuba akalulu waliyo chairman ngabo nogamba nti Justice Simon Byabakama akuli akakiiko electoral commission okay nti yaliyo kati mu chairman w'ebyokulonda mu NRM ngabo omulaba Dr. Tango Doi yaliyo waliyo deputy waliyo deputy IGP Major General Muzei Sabit okay ani omulala yaliyo yali nvudde mu mutwe but all those big names
that's what I'm saying they didn't trust the people who are there
okay Grace Akulo naye yaliyo
CID boss Grace Akulo naye yaliyo kakati ne balangirira kitegeeza bakuuma akalu n'emirembe era okulonda kwagenda bulungi okay naye eventually olina petitioninga then legal team y'abantu ba 14 gye bateekawo okuwuliza petition z'abantu nevayo negamba mbu tewali muwanguzi what kind of country are we living in
naye ate ono petition gye yakola ye alaga nti okulonda akalulu kwalimu violence mwalimu okutiisibwa abantu
that was the first one right
yana alaga nti mwalimu n'okuferinga abantu
kati bali bakolayo ki
okuleti bajja abantu ebbaluwa mawogane baleta ne balonda n'alaga nti mwalimu exchange of money voter bribery na biki naye nze olwaleero omusajja omu yakolako statement nti ayina ensimbi esobola n'okwokya amataffaali naye ng'ateeka mu mitwalo 5 putting their money ngateeka mu tezi ssente
ng'abantu bafa obwavu
nga Chris wagambye muli bulungi
nze ndi bulungi
olwaleero eva mu kampu emu ng'egamba nti bakozesa ssente okuba nti nate bakyusa akalulu ngatumanga otokutandika okugera ku bintu bya sente ono mu ggwanga Uganda bwana Chris nga ne obuuza akaana akato nti bani bomanya balina sente mu ggwanga ne Uganda erinnya lya Kuteesa teribulako
erinnya lya
Kuteesa terisobola kubulako
Honorable Sam Kuteesa
so oba atenga ogamba nti kampu ye ate yegamu nate sente zaayitira obungi nga ziva eno nga zikyusa akalunzi anteka question mark ekyokubiri bulugamba nino abanene bonna baaliyo tango doing ali ku ground nakalangira nti soda akoze eki akawangudde ekisazo muvayo n'ogamba nti ate simanya mwalimu okuferinga abantu mwalimu okukola biki chairman Poti yavayo n'agamba nti omuntu yenna bwakkizibwa okuno akasabanga akakiiko LC1 oba LC chairperson NRM w'ekitundu amukola ki amumanyi ebitaba nayo nsonga kati olabanga fight eno eri beyond okuba nno baagala kifo ki wabula fight eno eri beyond today babegamu is it 81 yali mwaka kyawo wetwalabanga mwami Kuteesa
no yali 1980
mwami Kuteesa ngayimbidde nani
Museveni ya petitioninga Sam Kuteesa embalala na kakati kankweka information yako ne bwe tuogerera kati ogwo musango tegusalibwanga
kati tukomyewo
nedda kati abaana bali mu kintu
but here's the thing Musasire President Museveni wali and the position that he has been put in is tricky olina Sam Kuteesa your aid from the word go yabadde nawe from the word go olina muganda wo who is also there kati this is why I think they failed to make up their minds olina one person on your right hand who is a very heavy person olina on the left hand who is also a very heavy person. What would you do, Simon Chris, if you had an in-law and a brother and a friend contesting on the same position and you had to make a choice? Do you know how hard that is?
Okay.
Kati bali ku position where abagambye I am not going to get in trouble with my two people. Ngenda baleka bagende abantu balonde, but is this how we're going to run the country? As the chairman, as the leader, you have to make a decision, even if it comes with bloodshed. You have to make your stand. So Kati, this is showing us how undecided and how do they call it when you hire when you hire your family members to work in your company. There's a word for nepotism. Kati, this shows the highest level of nepotism that I've seen for the fact that they failed to make a decision. Is that?
Now, there are quite a number of fundamental questions, but I want to bring out only 2 or 3. How competent is the tribunal that was set to listen to those petitions? How competent is it? Okay? Was baina chebatia over nedda? Because you can't tell me tuliriza both sides, but we can't make a ruling. How competent is it? And then the other question is, do these party primaries still make sense or not?
Tribunal yagende maogola ya salaundi akaluka ine okudasaba anti akaluka koleki kadde but sikuta jana yavude bunyatulaga anti akalulu tebafunye time ekaddamu. That's why they said inti kati seke
how long wade bagera kaddamu milioni emeka
seke tule wanse koleki deciding bagenda kwanga time te wale atenga nominations za MPs their own jikira bat wale na kubiri zokka kuna miteka MPs kati ngono kubantu ita flag bearer. So bati baina buddobo kubana nga baddama akalulu ateno ACA closing ne bagamba no. In fact zirina gundi consequences ebiri walo yabadde nendala envudde mu mutwe nayo tebafunye era ina nteyafunye gundi flag bearer balabyenga biganye.
We had one in where that was where is it, Rabbi? The MP seat where Joverin Kalisa and Jane Bernomugisha also went with the Electoral Commission bombing Gabagamba. We have been nominating as NRM people.
So, NRM Gamatino yes. My question is,
yesterday, we had a press conference at NRM. As usual, they usually have a press every Sunday. So, Secretary General NRM, Mchala Kasole Lumumba, yagambye nti all those that have come as independent candidates but from NRM disciplinary committee egenda kutula okay then decision je bana abakoze bagenda giforwardinga mu central executive committee to make a decision either okubagoba oba okubaleka. So kitegeeza mulimba ministers abagwa ne basala okujanga ba independent ne bano sodo ne mucha ne mwaya wa Sam Kuteesa kitegeeza singa Central Executive Committee kwa ruling ne bagamba nti all those independent candidates abazze nga bavudde mu NRM bagobwe kitegeeza tebagenda kwa
naye Simon Chris omanyi that the president himself gave them permission to go independent okimanyi Nagamba, waliyo abantu abazze and they were telling the president you have two options. I like how Ugandan politics is. Nakuzino, they put the president at a point where they give him options. Or you have two options. One, you either tell us we can't go as independents and we go to the FDC party and NUP and all the opposition parties, we join them. Or you can let us go independent. And once we go through as independents, we can come back to the party and maybe be NRM as we're there.
Katolaba nabagwa mugundi musek. Bakola shadow set.
Oh my God. Nobody wants to.
Omanyi kino kyonna kiva ku kintu kimu. Nti buli wobanga olina bw'otudde naye nga otuddewo mu mbeera etali nnambulukufu. Buli kyonna kyogezako kuboggula singa kuba Simon Chris olwaleero ogenda n'oyenda ku mukyala wa neighbour bodde ewaka ewuwo tosobola gobuyinza ku mukyala wa neighbour tosobola kuddamu kuboggula waka nga mukyala wo waali mukyala nakwa n'ategera nti wayenze bwogenda kusogeza obufumu notenga ng'osirika so chairperson wa NRM embeera gy'alimu essaawa zino nti bwageza okuba nti ajjayo eddoboozi bamugamba gwe
nawe
twakyebolaba nti ali mu mbeera tasobola kusalawo naye singa tugobera ssemateeka omulambulukufu wa NRM aho kyekituufu nti bwe yaze independent agave mu kibiina kubanga etteeka ligamba bulungi tugenda kuwagira fagbe twabadde nabalabye wano nga gundi alonkinga honorable Kiwanda Sudi yabadde Wakiso ne bagamba nti bo nga Wakiso basazeeyo bagenda kuwagira flag bearers bokka era buli as independent bagenda mukuba ballot bagenda tandika against that person bonna bamuyeekere kituufu ekirina okukolebwa simu inalemu wokka wabula party zonna eziri mu ggwanga tuba tugobera multi-party politics tubendi oboyise woze nofuna tiketi yaffe akakuluneka no tulunde ekiriwo kuba twakikkiriza akaluka kuba singa tiketi ekulemu okutwata ddayo mu party boto weyinga okumunnakuta tiketi omuyambeko mutwale for the good of the party lero kubanga nze nabaga tukulembeza okweyagaliza n'omululu nti buli muntu agamba singa sinze tewajja kubeerawo what Simon Chris what tukkiriza Simon Chris okute ticket nze taliki nkugoberere lwa party yaffe lero kubanga nange neyagaliza nga ze taliki sagaliza nabalo era onze wenda bulira abalonzi timutumira abantu ngabo aba ina musaze mwade gundi flag ana ze independent kati musale
but here's the problem we're going to face as a country Simon Chris and Tariq independence bagenda vera banji now if you look at the statistics we have 92 parliamentary candidates we have 92 parliamentary candidates nominated in Kampala for how many seats
10.
Thank you. We're going ahead, and among those seats, we have 40 independents. Abadja. In these parliamentary seats, to get them maso, 24 candidates nominated for 4 parliamentary seats in Arua district. How many? 24 for 4 parliamentary. And then we have, and out of those, we have 28 independents. Gulu, we have 20 people. In Jinja, we have 46. For only how many?
And then a fundamental question.
And this is where we're going to come in.
Is multi-party politics still valid? Does it make sense in Uganda?
When everybody is coming in as independent. Let's go for a break and then we'll be back to discuss more on the conversation of multi-party politics or politics in general and opposition versus the incumbent government.
We'll be back.
You're watching STV. Select for fun. Hey guys, you're watching STV. Select for fun.
Well, we were still discussing while you guys were off, we're discussing where the different chaos happened in the country. Now, there were a series of things that happened during the nomination exercise, and one of them was during the nomination of MPs, we had a lot of chaos, we had a lot of tear gas, we had a lot of live bullets, and we had a lot of rubber bullets used. Now, during the meeting of the Mbogo clan members recently on Saturday, there was also tear gas, there was live bullets, and there were rubber bullets. Also, there was the tearing down of NUP's chairperson or NUP's flag bearer, Robert Chagulanyi posters, and there was tear gas, there was live bullets, and there were rubber bullets. Now, as we're discussing the different things that happened during the week in their different sessions, because we're going to touch one after the other, the fundamental question here is, must police use tear gas, live bullets, and rubber bullets, most importantly, live bullets, in dispersing crowds? Simon, Chris.
Oh, I saw you start with me, of course. I don't know for what reason, but then I've
no, I don't have a reason. I just use my right hand and then the left most of the time. So don't think I picked you from the point that.
Anyways, first and foremost, njagala condemning ekyabaddewo side ze emitiana. Police ekyokujjayo omuko ogubalagala ng'abantu bali mu kusinza. Ekyo kyennyini kiragirawo lwatu nti this could be the last kicks of a dying horse. Absolutely, with horse? No doubt.
Which horse?
Whatever horse you want to choose or name, this could be the last kicks of a dying horse. Tutuuse mu mbeera nti abantu tebakyatya Katonda, okay? Nti omuntu asobola okugenda n'amenya church on a Sunday in the presence of the security personnel, okay? Nti omuntu asobola okugenda n'akubatya gasi nga abantu bakuŋŋaanye okwebaza Katonda.
Why did it happen? Why did they break in neba kubatya gas? Yes.
Nkyakunyonyola nti tutuuse mu eyo embeera nti omuntu ogenda n'okubatya gasi mu bantu abakuŋŋaanye okwebaza Katonda lw'ebyo by'abakoledde. But olw'okuba nti okay, amid this okuba ng'oggyewo kyokuba nti tuli mu political season, okay? Ekyo tusooke tukize ebbali to explaining a scenario eyabaddewo nga ab'Embogo clan bagenze okukola ki okuŋŋaana okwebaza Katonda lw'ebyabakoledde nga tukimanyi lwatu nti president w'eggwanga bwe yayogera on the 20th national address in regards to COVID-19 yagamba nti tusobola okuddamu ne tusinza, okay, nga 15 olw'omukaaga zaabadde mmeka?
Was it 18? 17.
Omwogezi wa poliisi mu kitundu ekyo yagambye nti babadde bagezaako okudispazinga abavubuka abadde basuubira okukola ki? Okucyankalanya. Njagala kwebuuza oba neebuuza ekibuuzo kino, abo ababadde bakuŋŋaanye Embogo clan okusabako nkimanyi bulungi nti bawandikira poliisi era poliisi adde kimanyi nti waliwo olukuŋŋaana. Bayiseeko poliisi okubagamba nti twekengedde waliwo abantu abasuubira okujja tutuusaako obulabe. Bafunyeeko notification oba nedda? They need to answer that question.
Well, we can start with discussing that topic because I mentioned 3 things. The clan, the tearing down of the posters, and then the nomination exercise. Tutandikire kweyo ya clan because that's where you started.
Soko kusasira ab'Embogo, omanya ab'Embogo omunayi bakojja abange.
You're also from the Mbogo clan?
No.
The mother's side. Okay.
Era kojja wange nkimanya kwali abitulamanyi abeera Johannesburg, South Africa. Kojja wange Nyanzi Vincent nkusasira kubanga ab'Embogo bantu bakulu gyendi. Bakojja bange naye ng'ate kyabadde si kirungi era kyebulaba ne kabaka ow'ebweru ow'ekitiibwa Charles Peter Mayiga Katikkiro yabudde n'akondeminga Obuganda obudde n'akondeminga embeera yayiziddwamu kubanga guno omukolo gwa byabuwangwa. Abantu mu Uganda tulina abantu ab'enjawulo abakkiriza
abadde gwakusaba
ab'Embogo bali bagenze ku butaka bwabwe kwebaza Omukama Katonda byabayisizzaamu. Baffe tuyise mu mbeera ez'enjawulo naye ng'abazzukulu n'abaana ab'Embogo bagenze ku butaka bwabwe emitiyana beebaza Mukama Katonda era nga bagezesewo n'ekitambiro ky'emmisa beebaza Mukama Katonda biki byabayisizzaamu ebbanga omwaka guno. Naye obuzibu tukimanyi bulungi nti omukulu Bobi Wine Kyagulanyi Ssentamu wa Mbogo.
Yes.
So babitaddemu ebyobufuzi.
Definitely. Banga already naye muzzukulu era naye wambogo. Yabadde ino kugenda ku butaka bwabwe. Naye abeerewo yebaza omutonzi naye yegatte ne bazzukulu banne ne baganda be. Kubanga nga omusajja omuganda kimukakatawo kuba nti agobera ebyobuwangwa. So polisi yo lwakitegeddeko nti sentamu alina okubeera wano.
Ne balowooza it's going to be a political session.
Era kwekujja. Era yafuze ne statement naye mwennyini ngalaga nti agaaniddwa okuba nti agenda kugenda ku mukolo naye nga lwaki tuka ku mbeera eyo kuba buli omukolo gwa bya buwangwa ate nga naye musajja muganda kimukakatako okugenda ku butaka bwe okuba nti yebaza omutonzi. So kati obeera nga agamba nti kati obuwangwa tubuveeko bwe tutuuse kati poitisangire ne buwangwa bwaffe nti omuntu asula obuwangwa bwe because ali mu politics. No, era nze kiva nawakanya na nnyo nti ogamba nti Bobi Wine ave mu kuyimba because ayingidde politics. Era n'ogamba nti abantu bali babiri ife tugaana Bobi Wine tetugaana Sentamu, but Sentamu era yayamba ekifaananyi kya Bobi Wine. So notuli abasajja ngaawo bazze kati abavubuka bali ludda batulagende babadde badispazinga kamera mawulire gala ku bavubuka babadde badispazinga abalagalaga abasajja bakulu bavudde okuba nti tiyegasa abakubyemu tebena sini etulaga nti badde bola bavubuka badde bazze okukyankalanya yatwavuddeyo n'omuntu n'omu yabadde ku mukolo gwe yagambye tibadde bavubuka badde bazze tukyankalanya no.
The use of tear gas and the use of live bullets and the use of rubber bullets is what I condemn, and I have condemned it over and over again. We had elder people in this gathering who actually fainted because of tear gas. We've seen youth themselves who have been hit tear gas, never tula, never cover as if they're kids. Now look. Here's the problem, and police, one thing, you're in trouble this time, and there's no way to back you up because you're in trouble. There's nothing worse than attacking the heritage and cultural entity of a nation. You have they're going to get in trouble because of that. They're going to get in trouble because of that. The moment you get away from only here's where they're going to get in trouble. They did not only touch culture, they touched religion. Now, when religion comes and marries culture, Okutewabi as the police, in Uganda, now you don't want to start a war with the Buganda kingdom. And they have touched a wound that is going to hurt them so bad. But where is this problem coming in? Kankugambe, where the problem is coming in. The political situation in the country is dire. Nominations have been done. Now the people who have seen themselves as nominated as members of parliament, batandise okukuba akalu. And it also touches NRM members who have started campaigns and they're not being touched. Tariq, you showed us a story whereby NRM members in which place that was? In Wakiso. In Wakiso, who are having campaigns and nobody was touching them. We saw the same thing happening in different parts of the region. NRM Bakuba Kalulu, and nothing is done to them. Kati, we've come to a situation where Robert Chagulanyi is going to meet the clan members, and the worst thing for them is there is evidence whereby abantu balina social distancing masks. Did you see the gathering? There was social distancing and there was masks. Kati, for them, police came out and made a statement and said there were youth that was coming and they wanted to enter the gathering at Debanj. And among them was Robert Chagulanyi and the other members of parliament who are on the opposition and who are also clan members. Now, like Tariq said, you can't stop people from being cultural because they're political. You cannot stop people from praising their God because kati ogenda gamba Chagulanyi togenda mu church kubanga ogenda kuba akalulu. One, be fair in your runnings when you're telling people that nomination date is not out, because the Electoral Commission has come out negamba tetuwagambye mu kuba akalulu. We haven't announced it. Ate we need guidelines for you in order for you to start campaign season. So we haven't started temuchikola. Before kati, one, how do you stop Chagulanyi because he's going to be there and he's going to be political? What they should have done, Chagulanyi aingiremu, nabo baingiremu, sit there. I mean, you're Christians, right? You have religion, right? Praise God. You have a reason to praise God. Use that session to praise God. And for you people who are in police, namwe mulina culture. But take it, mutulao namwe, you look at your cultures, and then if Chagulanyi starts a campaign strategy, ngamwe muli, mukube tear gas. But check it out. But not even tear gas. Just stop him. I'm just saying, if you want to use tear gas, find a reason too. man, you've attacked the wrong
Latifa.
place at the wrong time.
Latifa,
You've touched a wound that
I
hurts.
want to re-echo what you just said. The truth is we have about 3 opinion leaders in this country. And we've all get the chintu. A response one is the president of this country, the fountain of honor.
Yes.
It's a directive that has to be implemented. 2, cultural leaders.
Cultural leaders, yes.
Cultural leader
That is important.
it's a no-go zone. 3, religious leaders.
Important.
Those are the 3 opinion leaders. Inti wobokola any decision, you must think twice or even thrice or even think before
and
you
they
think.
have touched 2.
Okay? And this goes to the Inspector General of Police. Okay? And other security agencies. Tugenda mukasera akazibu akebyobufuzi. Okay? Tetwagala kulaba nga tutuuka mu mbeera enyigiriza all those 2 opinion leaders or sections omuli banaddiini n'ab'ebyobuwangwa. Awo tugende mpola. Bw'olaba Rwanda, there was a tribal war. Okay, that costed 1 million people for them to attain the peace they have today. We do not want to go
and
that side. You remember what happened in 2009?
It can.
Kabaka wa Uganda and Mwenda Mutibamugano Gende Kayunga. You know what happened. We do not want to take that side. Naturally, Latifa, you get the kuchintu cha campaigns. I want to challenge the Electoral Commission. Okay? Ogambo otya mbutuso tugenda soka kuba akaluka president then to deco linda okuba akalu ku ballot tugenda soka president ne ba members of parliament. Okay? Tusembyeyo local government. Okay? Naye ate nominations twasoka local government ate tusembyayo ki ba president ate nga bagenda kuba campaign emyezi ejo ebiri. So does it make sense?
But me I would think nti omuntu kasaba nominated kitegeeza bomutadde okuba nti agenze campaign is
Electoral Commission yaganye.
Tino kulinda.
It hasn't released dates.
Yes, Electoral Commission no kulinda date egambe nti kati tumaze okumaybe okunominating our presidents then katugenda kola kikuba campaigns. Naye ate tugenda soka londa ba presidents.
Isawa elimbamu. Naye nga tuze ku nsonga nga tuze ku nsonga ene ekyabadde Mityana. Police eno ndamagamba ko nemabega nti police eno eringa ngeekolerera okuba nti inabe omanyi eringa ekolera nti inabe yagala okunyiiza nti eyagala bateekemu embeera gamba bannayuganda munyiige naye nga yo bala bati munyiiga kuba kati weebuuze kyekya balese okuba nti bakola embeera eyo yagala kuba nti bannayuganda bateekamu omutima kyagaso nti munyiige muveeyo ndoza muyeke eggwanga
naye kutulanga campaigning strategy opposition ate it's a blessing in this guys.
No, ate lwaki kubanga ebbanga nebanamala nga bakola ebintu ebyo nze nagamba bongera ku hypinga opposition kuba nti bagiwama.
And only imagine the clergy who are in that station.
Police ekolera opposition ekolera.
Let me answer that question for you, Tariq. Tuli mugwanga, whereby when the police is created, police answers to who? One person. Who is the chief? Kati, when the police starts answering to that person, who is that person? The chief of the UPDF, the chief of police, the chief of Maje, Commander-in-Chief Yani.
Of course, the president.
The president. Thank you. Now, when the army and the police are instated in the country, their first thing that they're supposed to do, the first thing they're supposed to do is actually protect the sitting government. That is what they're supposed to do. Protect the what? The sitting government. Who is the sitting government?
But
Katin, I'm still coming to you, Tariq. And the person who pays their salaries, and the person who decides what their cut is going to be on the budget is the commander-in-chief. Kacho, your commander-in-chief, who is feeding you,
Latifa,
I am not saying
commander-in-chief. No, Latifa, commander-in-chief takwata munsawo ye. Commander-in-chief basasula omusaala guno noguva mu nsawo zaffe bannansi. Era poliisi eriwo okukuuma bantu n'ebintu byabwe. So
that they put the security budget from everything else? Let me tell you, there's a politics that is being played. Police is supposed to be non-partisan, but they're not non-partisan. Nabo, they're being put at a place whereby they're being held in a position where they're supposed to support a city government. Let me tell you something. The only solution we can have is by making the police independent.
You can't, because even you say to follow is independent.
And we said we can't.
Is it independent? But is it independent?
No, it's not. Of course, it's not. Yeah. And we can't make it independent.
Latifa,
but here's the thing: police should try its best.
Ebange tunambala ngola ifana nyebenga bwebiri. Ola imbala kamunyagwa. Yabada ina babade abantu nga batano babona zena babade nga 10 kinene nnyo. Position ngatambule bwayise. Masiga abute gasi na kuba buli kimu. Ne tutwala by'omukolo gwabadde jewa kisso. Abantu 10
and they were there. We've seen it.
Ministers babaddewo. Minister omukyala gwengamba gwesibanja. Seninde yabaddewo. Kiwanda subi yabaddewo. Abatungu abenjawulo abenare babaddewo. And
I'm not giving an excuse for police. I'm not giving an excuse for police. I'm literally answering your question and then coming back to say it is wrong of police to choose sides. It doesn't only get to the point where Ambala say NUP uniform, then they have to be arrested, or when they put on the NRM color, they have to be arrested. It comes to the point. I mean, how partisan can you be? Rachi, if we're doing the electoral commission, says there is no campaigns, why are we letting NRM or Kukuba Kalulu and we are beating up NUP and other oppositions for being against the law? Why don't we be fair in trying to reinstate the law instead? The law, that's all I'm asking for.
The IGP must be able to answer your question.
Government yetidde over. Because nabestande yabadde wakiseka wansi nga basange posters za Bobby Wine nga bagenda bazitimbula bazijjawo posters moreover posters fe ono Buganda ukimanyi omuntu singa yuzo kifaananyi kyo bwana Chris aba akusse singa mbole fanjo na akiyuza mubakoze eki nero posters zabadde zibizibwamu nabuka no kuba bakota tear gas kandi zabazikasuka mu bizimbe mu arcades
kati on that
omulali mudukale akola mirimu je ne bakusoka canisters mu za arcade.
Can I analyze all this whatever you're saying? It's the second time I'm saying this, that whatever is happening or whatever the security agencies are doing, okay, it's a blessing in this case to the opposition. Webakubatia gas, muchaluka jibula webyabadde. Muli mubeeramu Naalumanya ne Saalumanya. Kati Saalumanya abuuza ate tiya gas waaki. Nti bakuba Bobby Wine wabaga Bobby Wine agenda kujja mu kifo kino ate Bobby Wine akoze eki ntagala kwesi yesimbi okubwa president ekyo kyokka so kitegeeza oba okubye eki campaign omazo jikuba. It's a blessing in this guys.
Kati, as we are speaking about the posters that were torn down, as we're speaking about the posters that were torn down, before I go there, Tariq, you've just shown me this video that everybody is watching right now, and how they are carrying these people and throwing them under the truck and taking them to the police station. Violation of human rights. Violation of human rights. However, coming back to the topic of tearing down posters, Tariq. What is happening in the country, and the fact that police has said, Fred Ananga has actually come up to say, we're going to work with the KCCA and the posters are going to be torn down. Here's the thing, when rules are put up in the country, also the nomination that happened and the chaos that happened, Muhammad Munyagwa was one of them, and the chaos happened in his nomination. Bagambia abantu bameka? Basatu. Bawerekere the person who is going to be nominated. Bagambia basatu. They should escort the person who is going to be nominated. How many people escorted Muhammad Munyagwa? The whole village?
No.
You didn't see it?
Latifa. Ata otewekuba. Bameka escorting agundi.
That's what I'm saying. No, by the time I started, Tariq, don't make it seem like I'm choosing sides. By the time I started, City did. But by the time I started this conversation, Nagambia, I am castigating the police for taking sides. If we are supposed to enforce the law, can we do it on both sides? I castigate that. However, when rules are put, can we also follow rules? Katitula, the NRM people who were supposed to go with 3 people as well, never agenda with the whole crowd, with the whole village. Kati, why is it that they tear gas Munyagwa and leave the NRM people? I castigate that. But on a general platform, can we start following rules? Now, Olava AKCC and the police are tearing down posters. On the 15th of September 2015, the same exercise happened.
Yes.
They were tearing and they tore down posters.
Now
there's a picture that showed they were actually tearing down NRM posters as well. They didn't care what color the posters were. They were tearing down posters. So at the end of the day, it's not about color. It's about the fact that it is illegal to put posters without authorization. Can we not put posters without authorization? Because what I'm telling NUP supporters and NRM supporters is that we'll take our poster. Of course, it's not going to happen to NRM. President Seven again take our posters and they won't do anything to him. Now, Bobby Wine will take our posters. They're going to call him in the courts of law as we sent a fine, and that's something to
I think.
So can we follow the rules?
Yes, as we do follow the rules, it all goes back to what KCCA says about posters in Kampala. Okay, KCCA. So I think whatever police was doing was in accordance to the in accordance to what KCCA says. Boba ngatekiriza mu inanzukira bulungi it was in 2015 towards ngatugenda mu kaluka 2016 yagamba temugenda kubeera mu poster wa mu kibuga. Okay, era nkimanyi bulungi teeka likyaliwo. So police okuvaayo negamba ngayizawo ebipande Chibad in accordance to the law. Wabula what they did wrong, okubanga bayuzawo bya red.
Yes,
that is what the problem is.
It's not about that time on Chris. Like I said, in 2015, I don't know, producer, do we have that picture? There's a picture that shows the KCCA guys and police, Batambud, and there was a poster where there was only yellow, and they were tearing it down.
All of them.
This is the position where they've been put in. Wogenda Muchibuga. It has been painted red. Let's agree, let's disagree. Chibuga has been painted red, roundabout area red, and then we have Lukwago. Yes, there's yellow. I'm not saying there's no yellow. There's, you've said it yourself, some yellow. Lukwago himself has a very big board. And the people who are coming from this side cannot see the traffic light Bulungi because of what? The big Lukwago board. Now, if they cut down the board, Mujagamba opposition.
But
no, for the board it's a different scenario.
They're coming to the NUP. And one of the reasons why Baganda, I'm going to let you say what you're saying, but one of the reasons they say they're tearing down these posters is the wrong placement of these posters. Roundabout, signs. It's a road sign, slow down.
Which is okay.
There's a sign. And truth be told, like I said, the majority of the posters that are there are red. Muganda Lavanga, they are tearing red posters.
What's wrong with Daniel?
The KCCA spokesperson. Nemugamba, the allegations, that there are people, you see that picture? They're tearing down yellow posters. Katia Mujagamba, they're not tearing down DP posters. To be fair, when we argue
no one is castigating them for tearing down
You're saying they're only tearing down red posters. Is where I'm
this
coming
time round,
they're
saying only red.
And the reason why you're seeing red is because the majority of posters in town are red. I've been in town yesterday and again in town because I don't like to speak at a position where I don't have evidence. Yesterday I was in downtown, but the majority of posters that are there are red because the number of youth are supporting what? Opposition. So the number of posters are in Nemubuza, Nemugamba, Daniel. They're saying you're tearing down only red posters. Why? Nagamba Latifa, if you go to town right now, you'll see that both NRM and NUP posters are being torn down. It's just that the majority of posters that there are NUP, and that's why people are seeing that NUP posters are being torn down. Now, there are allegations also that Fred Enanga said, I want to make a phone call to him and inquire about this. He said, the reason why we are removing NUP posters from, or NUP boards from near the NRM boards is because we don't want conflict between the two parties. But is that how it is supposed to be done? And like I said, they're causing the conflict. Exactly. And I'm saying, I am quoting that, and I'm not sure he said that, and we have to speak to him today after the show, so that tomorrow by the time we come back, we have evidence to that. That at the end of the day, posters have to be torn down in the city center, whether they're red, purple, or blue.
Yes, they have to, according to KCCA. Now,
because even in the US and UK, those laws are there.
Even have to pay their some money. Yes,
they
go.
Stop them.
What should we do?
Authorization only is what they're asking for.
Billboards, we talked about billboards.
Billboards, I want to put posters.
Billboards is it acceptable for one reason. This is slow muscle.
This is slow muscle, yes.
Okay. So whatever billboard you make call kuago mbira ebinji nyokuwa you pay the money that's a slow muscle. Now one thing I want to assure you people friends is that Uganda eoma. Uganda efusenga Hollywood. Every day tufuna ka episode akapia. Twali tuliawo nga tulaba video ku social media. Presidential hopeful ero mubaka wa Chadondo East nga akoze ka video agamba atulaga drone eze mulumbye makage then onako olwaddako omwogezi wa polisi mu ggwanga afande Fred nanga omulaba ku TV yavaayo n'agamba nti Bobi Wine talina maaso galaba yalabe munyenye n'agiyita drone. Anyways, the first show takes a very short break. Era tugenda komawo n'amawulire agavudde Bunaayira ne Adams Mayambala. For now, it's a very good morning.
Hey guys, you're watching STV. Select for fun.
At exactly 8:45 p.m. East African Standard Time, join me, Elijah, to Yagmanawe, putting focus on current affairs, be it political, social, or economic news. We shine a spotlight on our beautiful Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, providing information that is age-cutting here on STV with select news.
This is Select Health, a place where I'm joined by a variety of guests and specialists as we discuss your mental, physical, and social health. Join me, Emanuela, here on STV.
Ntunda yogati, ntunda nanansi byonna.
Business ya yogati ogigato tane muye nanansi bannange.
Babeera bagala okunywa amata, banyumirwa okunywa ku yogati ne bakuuma omubiri ng'ogwange. Nga kuva ku makya maze kutunda emitwalo 6. Ziwura tudde.
Bannange ng'omusayi ng'okola nnyo nnyo.
Era kyevula bansanyuse.
Byebyo kugambye zino komodo zawano tubeera kazi.
Nze musiraamu w'Ennyamegaba.
Musiraamu w'Ennyamegaba.
Yeah.
Akabiina kazina kapapaala, kapapaala, akabiina ku kapapaala.
Hey guys, you're watching STV. Select for fun.
Good morning once again, and thank you so very much for joining us. For those of you that have done that, especially those streaming live on Facebook, you are doing a great job. Yamba kobambi sharing no ku Facebook abasolo kulaba nga bamanya what's happening in Uganda Nadella on the first show. Well, my name is Simon Chris Makanga. Eranga kisera tugenda kubanga tugenda okufuna amawulire nga magambye okuvewa Adams Mayambala. Nenga sinaba kugenda yeyo. Some of you have tried to send in your comments on different topics that we have been talking about. Waliwo Joshua Walcott, thank you so much for always being part of this amazing show. Wagambye, personally, I have a friend working as a maid in the UAE. We talk and meet in person. Once these people are brought online like slaves, and there is no way the company can follow the girls to the houses to see their well-being. We need strict laws. Those companies must be stopped. So you're in support to what government said okuvayo neyimiriza company ezitwala bannayuganda wabweru. Then Prince Juko, ovuddeyo n'ogamba Latifa in a beautiful accent yogenda mumeza amalala. Then Robert Mayanja, Tariq, maybe even other countries, especially where those four come from, don't take COVID-19 seriously. And then waliwo muchala wanagambye Cynthia ogambye but results tunoza twatwogira ku nsonga ya certificate za COVID-19 ziba intercepting ze wano ku Entebbe International Airport. You said but results are sent on our emails or phone contacts here in England. So which certificate then do they ask for if you get to the airport? No, baba wakwetagisa certificate eraga over results is confirming nti you tested negative 72 hours before you jet into the country. And then well, I don't know what we're speaking about. And then Cindy, the same person as Cynthia, you said Latifa is speaking a lot of sense. Well, Latifa, you're the best candidate today. Meanwhile, keep your comments coming through on whatever topic that we have been sharing about, and especially on our Facebook. And then you can choose to follow me on Simon Chris Makanga Facebook, and then SC Makanga on Twitter. For now, Adams Mayambala was Zoti. God is so humble. Weekend against any movie.
Zembera humble now.
Kumanyi off camera. Oba yuko tayeri ebuze.
Eruda wali ayero.
Katwamba
deching. Ishiriwo.
Weekend ya date.
Weekend era the weekend sijimanyi. Tugenda bugenzi maso.
Ndoza tewejisa kubanti walondo okuba munna mawulire. We work 7 days a week, we hardly rest.
Sikyajjusa olw'ensonga naffe tulinga basirikale ab'amagye tuliwo okusavinga ggwanga so kati w'amagye weyeebaka eggwanga baba bagenda ddiru
ate ffe
bwetwebaka ebintu biba bigenda yiteeyo nga tetulaba
gadinga weewaawo tutwale maaso
butereevu amakya amalungi mwina abagenda maaso n'okubanga mulaba STV amanya nze Adams Mayambala era ng'enkya lunaku olwaleero njagala tugendeko mu ggwanga erya Guinea era ng'eggwanga lya Guinea lirimu wano mu Africa terimu bazungu liri mu Africa era nga olunaku olw'eggulo ennaku z'omwezi nga 18 bavuddeyo ne babanga baakubye akalulu kaabwe mu ggwanga erya Guinea oluvannyuma lw'ebintu kwegamba ebize bibaawo okuva olw'omwaka guno lwe gwatandika ng'abantu abasoba mu 5 be bakafiira mu ntalo zino ezibaddewo wakati w'abeekalakaasi ne poliisi n'ebitongole ebikuumaddeme mu ggwanga eryo okuli amagye era ng'abantu abawerera ddala 2 be bakakasiddwa okubanga bo bakyali ku bisago omwaka guno gwonna newankubadde tubaddenga mu COVID-19 naye nga mu ggwanga lya Guinea abantu bali mu kwekalakaasa olw'ensonga ez'enjawulo era ng'abantu abawerera ddala 5,500,000 be bakakasiddwa okubanga kwegamba bakwetaba mu kulonda okusinziira ku nkaala z'abalonzi era nga babadde ne polling stations eziwerera ddala 1,500 era nga badde besimbyewo bali abantu 12 wabula nga bo kwegamba bali ku mbiranye bali 2 okuli president aliko incumbent amanyiddwa nga Alpha Conde n'omwami omulala akulira opposition yeeyo amanyiddwa nga Selu Dalein Diallo era nga yebeesijeweeyo ba Bobi Wine weeyo tetumanyi naye nga yakulira main opposition party kwegamba ekibiina eky'oludda oluvuganya gavumenti ekisinga okuba ekyamaanyi ekimanyiddwa nga Union of Democratic Forces of Guinea era nga bagamba ono yali ku mbiranye ne President Alpha Conde ono emyaka gye nga bw'omulabaawo yabadde alonda olunaku olw'eggulu kegamba emyaka gimuwubidde akatambaala wa myaka 82 era ndowooza mu ggwanga amawanga agamu mukaabya kajanja omusajja wa myaka 82 we yagala kukomawo kwegamba yagala kisanja kyakusatu era nga ekyali kyekalakasisa abantu bano okutuuka okubanga baafa abantu abawera ddala 50 omukulembeze oyo gwolaba yakwegamba baleeta ekiteeso mu palamenti okubanga bamwongeza ekisanja kwegamba bajjawo ekisanja balina ebisanja 2 byokka wabula ne babanga bayongezaayo ne babanga ekisanja bakijjawo era nga batwala ekiteeso mu palamenti ne babanga palamenti bakuba referendum oba akalulu ak'ekikungu ako era nawana eno ndooza bakoogerako abantu ne balonda ne bagamba muzeeyi twagala ebisanja obijjewo ffe twongere ebisanja ne babanga ebisanja babijjawo omusajja n'abanga alina okweyongerayo kati nga yakafuga emyaka 10 wabula ng'ayagala kisanja kyakusatu. Olunaku olw'eggulo balonze era tetunaba kumanya byavudde mu kulonda, wabula ng'abantu ab'enjawulo bavaayo ne bawakanya ekintu kino, abantu ne beekalakaasa nga bw'omanyi era bibaawo ng'abantu beekalakaasizza ne babakuba tiyagaasi ne balwala, abalala ne bafa amasasi, abalala kugamba bwe batyo ne baba ng'abantu abawera ddala 5 baafa. Era nga newankubadde kiri kityo bo abasinga bawagira ekintu kino eno ne baba nga constitution bagikwatako era ng'ennaku z'omwezi March 2 referendum bagikuba, era nga obutayawukanako newaffe wano ekibiina ekifuga mu ggwanga eryo nakyo kyambala yero. Bantu ba yero nnyo, kwegamba yero yeri mu buyinza, era nga kwegamba abantu abasoba mu 5 bafudde, naye nga waliwo okutya kw'amaanyi nti mu ggwanga eryo erya Guinea kwegamba ebyobufuzi bitambulira nnyo ku mawanga, era nga waliwo amawanga 2 okuli ba Fulani ne Bamadinke ababiri abo, era nga pulezidenti ava mu ggwanga eryo ly'Abamadinke nga bagamba azze kwegamba akunga abantu okubanga kwegamba beekalakaasa, era nga UN yavuddeyo ne warning eggwanga eryo nti President alina ebintu byavaayo n'ayogera nga kwegamba byawula abantu mu mawanga, era nga munnamuvuganya amanyiddwa nga Diallo yavuddeyo n'agamba omukulembeze ono ow'eggwanga kwegamba yawudde nnyo mu bantu, era n'ategeeza nti ye azze kukola ki, azze kuggyawo emyaka 10 egy'obulimba omwami oyo gy'abalimbye. Omwami gwe mulaba alonda ye mwami Diallo, olunaku lw'eggulo yabadde nga alonda. Nga bwe mbagambye nti eggwanga lino balina kwegamba kwegamba amawanga ag'amaanyi ennyo gali 2 okuli Bamadinke abo nga bo okusingira ddala balimi nga naffe wano we tulina amawanga ag'abalimi ng'abantu bano Bafulani bantu balunzi bante, era nga olunaku olw'eggulo mu kulonda bajjeeya poliisi n'amagye buli kimu mu kibuga ekikulu ekyo ekimanyiddwa nga Conakry, bajjeeya amagye gonna, emmamba zonna ne zivaayo kwegamba bakakkanye bafube okulaba nga batangira ki ekiyinza okuba nga kikola ki kivaamu mu kulonda okwo, olw'ensonga nti bizze bibaawo, era nga sabbiiti eyewedde babadde mu campaign abantu abawagizi b'omukulembeze w'eggwanga abo Bamalinke baliyo mu East balemesezza eyeesimbya owa Fulani omwami amanyiddwa nga Diallo kubanga agenda saidi zeeyo campaigninga oba okkuba obululu, bamulemesezza okugenda eyo, era nga poliisi bw'ogimanyi terina kye yakoze nga omukulembeze w'eggwanga abawagizi be baganye munne okampaininga, era ekkubo baalitaddemu emisanvu ne baliziba ne baba nga bamulemesezza okugenda, wabula poliisi yo ekyokukola ki ekyokubanga evaayo okugira abantu bano kyabalemye, era nga omwami ono ekibiina ekiri mu buyinza yakijjako mu mwaka gwa 2010 era nga bakiyita Rally of Guinean People, era nga emyaka 10 gyokka ng'afuga kwegamba kyewuunyisa nti abantu be bakoowa mangu, emyaka 10 gyokka omukulembeze ali mu buyinza bo ne baba nga bagambye muzeeyi tukooye bakyakaabya kajjanja, wabula nga ye Alpha Conde yavuddeyo n'ategeeza n'agamba nti nno ye kwegamba akomyewo kubanga alina ebintu bye bitannaba kuggwa, alina amafuta gayagala okubanga eggwanga baazudde waliyo amafuta tannaba bimaliriza ebya mining, yagambye ayagala akomewo bimalirize, waliwo enguudo ze batannakola ezitannaba kuggwa, enguudo kwegamba alabira ddala ng'emyaka 10 tegimumala, era ye yagambye alina okukomawo ayagala bakole ki abe ng'amaliriza ebintu ebyo bye yatandika biri mu pulani, alina ebintu ebimuluma, bw'anaaba nga si mukulembeze wa ggwanga osanga tebijja kukolebwa. Yagambye bambi njagala mumpa akalulu mbe nga nkola ki nga nkomawo malirize oyiro tannaggwa, biki byonna ebyo nga bw'obimanyi, wabula Diallo yavuddeyo n'agamba ebyo byonna bya bulimba, kwegamba mu ggwanga eryo poliisi eyisa bubi abantu, babakwata bubi, bakasuka kabangalizeeyo, eggwanga lifumbekeddemu obuli bw'enguzi bw'amaanyi. Sogera ku Uganda gwe yakanneeyungako, siri mu kwogera ku ggwanga erya Uganda, twogera ku ggwanga erya Guinea. Bino ebyenjoga biyinza oba bifaanagana, naye nga ggwanga lya Guinea poliisi eyisa bubi abantu, waliyo enguzi, abavubuka tebalina mirimu, kwegamba n'obwavu bungi nnyo nga bw'okiwulira, era ng'omukulembeze ono emyaka gye yakamalako gyokka 10 gyokka, kwegamba ebintu byongedde kutabuka, era nga wa myaka 82 baagala abaviire, wabula alemeddeko ku buyinza, era nga yakamala emyaka 10 gyokka, kwegamba kyewuunyisa nga kwegamba aludde nno ng'ali ku ludda oluvuganya, era ku 93 awo yeesimbawoko ne bamukuba akalulu, ne mu 98 ne yeesimbawo ku President amanyiddwa nga Lansana Conte, bye biri mu ggwanga eryo erya Guinea. Era sigenda sukkawo wano, tugenda kuba tulinda ebinaava mu kulonda okwo. Balonze olunaku olw'eggulo, katulinze tulabe oba President alikaddako, wabula nga waliwo obweraliikirivu nti nno wayinza obaawo akatabanguko singa balangirira ebyo ebitali bituufu. Already waliwo ebizze ebigamba nti kwegamba waliwo bakutte mu ballot, bakutte mu bululu. Producer tanzikiriza kweyongerayo. Kale nze Adams Mayambala mufuna olunaku olulungi. Simon Chris.
Hey guys, you're watching STV. Select for fun.
At exactly 8:45 p.m. East African Standard Time, join me, Elijah, to Yagmanawe, putting focus on current affairs, be it political, social, or economic news. We shine a spotlight on our beautiful Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, providing information that is age-cutting here on STV with select news.
This is Select Health, a place where I'm joined by a variety of guests and specialists as we discuss your mental, physical, and social health. Join me, Emanuela, here on STV.
You're watching STV. Select for fun.
Good morning, my name is Elijah Manawe, and the usual suspect that does show up when it's time for Select Business. On the first show, will I bring you business highlights, what is transpiring in the economic world, nationally, regionally, but also globally. What do you need to know? What is that is trending that you need to know? How do you approach the business and the economic sector in general? Well, in studio this morning, I have a very prestigious guest that I'm very honored to have after a very long time, Mr. Gideon Badagawa. It's a very great honor to have you after a very long time of no interaction.
Thank you very much, Elijah, and I'm really very, very happy to be here this morning. It's nice to have me back again in front of you.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Gideon Badagawa is the Executive Director of the Private Sector Foundation Uganda, and we're going to be casting an eye at the various opportunities that Uganda's oil extraction does present to us. Well, there have been quite a number of debates and arguments on how to regulate the sector ahead of the first extraction of Uganda's oil. Regulation in terms of local content, regulation in terms of the environmental and social impact assessment, regulations in terms of very, very many things. How do we make a Ugandan benefit from Uganda's first oil? Then we shall also very very precisely cast an eye on the current business environment where Uganda has opted to capitalize in other countries regionally to grow regional trade. Well, straight away, Mr. Gideon Badagawa, how will Uganda benefit and how based? What are the various avenues that our government has put in place, the regulators have put in place? Talk about Petroleum Authority Uganda, talk about UNOC, and yourselves. How are you working together to see that Ugandan benefits from Uganda's first oil?
I think the first thing, Elijah, is for me as one coming from the private sector foundation, is to appreciate all businesses out there that are doing all that it takes to seize the opportunities that present themselves before the business community and across all the sectors, oil and gas just being one. There are many opportunities, especially at this time when we talk about the COVID challenge. There are many challenges, yes, but there are great opportunities that we can seize. And talking about oil and gas, one would say that this is really a new, if you like, a new sector that we did not really pay a lot of attention to 10 years ago, or even five years ago. You know, now that there is a ray of hope, especially as we look at the investment opportunities across the sector, in housing, in accommodation, in food production, and so on and so forth. And these are things that any Ugandan could be able to leverage and be able to put across the market. I think there are great opportunities that we can be able to challenge our people to seize. And just only recently, we had a conference on oil and gas. And the thing was, we wanted to understand how ready were Ugandans, from government to the civil society, in preparing, in terms of preparing for this, for investment in this area. And indeed, yes, most of our Ugandans have actually come through and are working with UNOC. You know, we have a database now where people are going to be, where a number of people have already actually registered themselves to supply this sector in terms of goods, services, and so on and so on.
Uganda's policies talk about local content are usually very juicy and colorful when you look at them in black and white. But when it comes to implementation, it becomes a problem. When you look at our policy of local content in the oil and gas sector, it stipulates 60% local local people, local staff, for the benefit of the local people, the local Ugandans, and 40% for foreign, considering the expertise that is required in the sector. But when it comes to implementation, it becomes a problem. How feasible is this? Is this going to be followed to the dot?
I think the challenge that we Ugandans have rests around the capacities. And it's not only in oil and gas. It is even in food, in agriculture, agribusiness, the standards, and so on. We need to pull up our socks. When we talk about opening markets, even our own market here, some of us are close to even our own markets here on account of standards, on account of volumes. We cannot enter these markets because we don't have what it takes to enter these markets. And certainly for oil and gas, you are talking about internationally certified standards. Because you are dealing with many partners across the globe, you are dealing with a challenging market, so to speak. It's quite a challenging market. So when you talk about local content and you're talking about 60% or whatever percentage it is, I think the challenge that we have is we need to prepare our people to meet up to this challenge.
Very true.
So it's one thing to write in your books and your laws and regulations. When we are procuring, we are going to give opportunity to Ugandans to supply up to 60%, whether it is consultancy, expertise, whatever level of expertise, or whether it's goods and services and so on. The question is, what can Ugandans offer? What are their capacities to offer? How organized are they to offer these? What about the standards? Because you can offer everything and put it to the market, whether it's, because these guys are going to look for many things, including housing and the competencies that you have in terms of construction, the engineering abilities and so on, are going to be really very, very crucial. That then we can be able to meet that 60%. Without that, I am really, I'm not really sure that Ugandans can be able to partake of that.
Okay, thank you.
So first things first, let us build the capacities and competencies of our Ugandans across all the sectors as we understand them, manufacturing, tourism. There's a lot that we need to prepare in the tourism sector. If you look at the Albertine region and look at the tourism products that could be developed, these guys are coming to look at Uganda.
Very true.
So how do we prepare Uganda for anyone who's coming from outside? Although their focus is going to be oil and gas, but there are a number of other things that can fetch.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
For this economy. So the question is, how ready are we?
Mr. Badaga, thank you very much for that submission. Moving on swiftly to our regional market, I held a conversation with you just when the pandemic had just hit the country, and you did raise concern when we were discussing about the industrialization sector of Uganda for a very long span and where it has come from. You did raise your concern of the market, that the local market wasn't enough for to take off all our products. And therefore, we see a new development currently that's the Uganda taking interest in constructing roads and confirming that they will be constructing roads in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which has been a matter of discussion for the whole of last week. Where does this leave us? Has the market expanded internally? And on a macroeconomics perspective, don't you think it would be very prudent to first build internal market and internal economic capacity before expanding to regional economic capacity?
I think we have different philosophies. Government has got a philosophy on how to access markets. The private sector has got a philosophy on how to identify and access, to build up to access these markets. And the question is, how do we build a confluence of markets? I think this is the challenge that we have. DR Congo is coming in East Africa. Okay? We have been 6 in the East Africa region, including South Sudan. Now, DR Congo has applied back to be part of us. And it's of great interest for us across the East African region, especially to build cross-border infrastructure. That is very important. But like you say, if we cannot market here in the country, then quite likely we will not be able to market in the region. Because if I cannot ferry my milk from Kisoro to Mbarara, or my maize from Kapchora down to Bale or whatever, internal roads are such a challenge to traverse, and they are impossible to some things like that. Especially the rural feeder roads, the community access roads. It's quite challenging for farmers to get across from the rural areas to reach out to the markets in the semi-urban or urban areas.
Very true.
So then the question is, can we reach Kinshasa? Can we be able to market in Nairobi? Can we be able to go to Juba and so on? So cross-border infrastructure is very important. But local infrastructure here is even more important. And that's why year on year, as PSF, we have been trying out to ensure that sufficient resources are put in the budget, data for infrastructure development, roads, energy development, building the bridges so that people can pass and go across the entire country. Because the thing is, we are trying to ensure that as Ugandans, we are able to market and compete, even in Kampala here, compete with those goods that are coming from elsewhere, South Africa, Egypt, China, and so on and so forth. They are coming from elsewhere and beating us out of the market in Kampala.
Mr. Badagawa, as we conclude, I'll move on to a question, my very last question to you, which is with the different changes, of course, the new development on COVID-19 is that the vaccination or the antivirus has been discovered, with different countries now starting to administer the vaccine into the public, which means we should be very optimistic that very soon we shall be having it here, and therefore COVID-19 will be history. But post-COVID-19 presents new normals, but also in the business sector. What are the new opportunities that the business sector does present to us today as Private Sector Foundation Uganda?
I think, Elijah, we are optimistic that COVID will go away, but we must not be complacent. If we are complacent, COVID will go away, but leave us with a lot of bruises, a lot of scars. Many people will have died, and that's not the Uganda into the future that you want to see.
Very true.
So it's very important that we sound the drums on standard operating procedures, even as we talk about the vaccines and so on. That is very important. for any Ugandan to appreciate that COVID is still with us. It's taking its toll on Ugandans. It's killing people. So people must appreciate that. Now, it's a challenge. COVID has laid us off our work. We are not employing as much as we should. People have been home. Many businesses in the tourism sector have been shut down because you don't have business. Anyway, even if you open your whatever, you don't have the tourists coming, you don't have. So, but there are new opportunities. We started with the oil and gas. There are many other opportunities. People continue to feed. You and me today will eat lunch, will have dinner, and so on and so forth. People will continue to eat. Who is servicing? Who is giving them the food? Who is doing the production? There are many opportunities in agriculture, in value addition, in manufacturing. People need water. People need lots and lots of things. And this is the private sector.
Absolutely.
It's the private sector to seize every opportunity across all sectors to make sure that we face the challenges.
Very, very true. Thank you very much, Mr. Gideon Badagawa, all the way from Private Sector Foundation, Uganda. It was a very a big honor for me to have you in the Ace TV studios this morning, speaking to the viewers of Ace TV and the first show being particular. Well, I don't know if my producer did prepare the financial updates. We shall very precisely do look at our forex rates. Let's see if they are there. Producer Husna right there. That's how the forex rates do look like, from the dollar down to the bottom. That's the Tanzanian shillings at the ground. I'll not go through all the figures all the way through, but the dollar at the top, followed by the United Kingdom pound, and there Kenya in the regional, and the euro, then down is Tanzania. Well, thank you very much for being a committed viewer of Ace TV and the first show in particular. My name is Elijah Tudiagmanawe, and I had the man himself, Gideon Badagawa, the Executive Director of Private Sector Foundation. He has been in the field for quite a long time and is very much endowed with vast information and experience in the field. Thank you very much, and keep it Ace TV. It's a good morning from me.
Watching STV, select for fun.
Business tuambe watimida na kolwale waneno ebusega.
Ntunda yogati, ntunde nanansi byonna.
Business yogati ogigato ne muye nanansi bannange.
Abera bagala okunywa amata banyumirwa okunywa ku yogati ne bakuuma omubiri ng'ogwange. Nga kuva ku makya maze kutunda emitwalo 6. Zibura tudde.
Bannange ng'omusayi ng'okola nnyo nnyo.
Era kyevula bansanyuse.
MC Drago. Makeup kyeyo bakuteekako
byebyo kugambye zino komodo za wano tubeera kazi.
Nze musiraamu w'Ennyamegaba.
Musiraamu w'Ennyamegaba.
Yeah.
Akabina kazina kapapala, kapapala, akabina kapapala.
Give me 190, I'm gonna make you thank Almighty.
Hey guys, you're watching STV, select for fun.
You who have been with us live on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also on STV 817 Go TV. We are so happy that you're with us through the show to the end, and we'll be engaging you more tomorrow on issues that is happening on the political platform in the country. My name has been Latifa Hamid. Take care of yourself, and remember, COVID-19 is real. So as you travel outside the country, make sure you take care of yourself. Students, you're in school, make sure that your masks are on all the time. time. You wouldn't want to report cases of you being sick, so you failed to sit for your exams. Madame Vivian Mbuga, the CEO of this place, we thank you for always being with us and guiding us through becoming who we are today. And I'd like to say goodbye for now till tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Bannayuganda mwenna bali batugoberera mbebaza abali batuliko mbebaza okuba nti mutugoberera nga mbasa musigale ku STV kubanga bingi ebikyabaleetebwa omukyala nakazi binnateetaawo nkwebaza okuba nti obadde tufollowinga n'abalamu nabo tufollowinga social media mikono gyange mikono gyaffe abali ebunane mu ggwanga muno tubeebaza musigale ku STV kyabaleetera bingi nnyo era nange mukamba siibule tukwatagane enkya inshallah Mungu gakkiriza. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam. Well, I want to appreciate the team behind this first show. We have Husna Afit and Adams Mayambala as our senior producers. We have Manreza Official on Instagram as the gentleman behind the cameras and on the drone. Then we had Robert Jones as the main man in the control room. And then I want to send regards to our chief executive producer, Haj Eskembuga. He's the man behind everything you see on STV. Meanwhile, my name is Simon Chris Makanga, and may the good Lord of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob be with you until we meet tomorrow for yet another edition of the first show. For now, we are not around.